Hello and welcome. Right. So, this stream will be interesting because I did a bit more research and turns out that the situation with OAUTH in C++ is pretty bad right now. So the devs of this library that would be the perfect solution are recommending me not to use it. So that's great. And honestly, there isn't really much else available. Like, I was looking around, but yeah, like there's like bunch of random stuff, you know, lying around. But yeah, like it doesn't really look like there's much available. So today I kind of need to figure out what's my approach, because I will definitely need OAuth. And there are certainly several like approaches I can take, right? So number one, I can basically implement my own, which, I mean, considering the current status of OAuth on GitHub, like there isn't really anything available. So maybe that's a good solution. Like, it would at least people like give people like a library to use. So maybe. But I'm definitely not fond of that idea, I have to admit. Like, it's not really... I would rather not. Let's just put it that way. So that's one option. The second option is kind of what I wanted to do anyway to a degree. Is the entire point of this bot was supposed, like it was supposed to be kind of a distributed framework-ish kind of thing. Which means that I don't necessarily need the modules that connect to YouTube and Twitch and whatnot to be actually written in C++. I can kind of keep the core of the system in C++ and have just all the modules in different languages, which would happen anyway, because one of the use cases I actually wanted to use this for was to have plugins into different games and basically allow people to have, you know, if someone writes a particular command, it does something in the game, right? And games are written in different languages, so usually that would be either C#, sometimes C++, or even Java, you know, it could be a bunch of different languages. So I would have modules in different languages anyway, and I already planned for that. Like, there's this very nice queuing framework, it's called ZeroQ, that basically allows, you know, just like sending messages and... no, not this one, what the heck. Am I misremembering the name? It's not ZeroQ. Queuing framework ZeroQ. MQ. Ah, yes. Okay. So this basically has bindings to like every language you can think of. So yeah, like pretty much covers everything you might want to use. So technically, like, I can have like all the modules in different languages and it will be okay. But then on the other hand, like the moment I start, you know, implementing the modules in Go or something, does it really make sense to write the core of the system in C++? Because honestly, I might as well just write it in Go at that point. So yeah, those are kind of the questions I am thinking about right now, and the goal of this stream will be kind of looking at different things, kind of collecting more information, and trying to figure out if kind of which way I want to go. So if I went the different language route, I would probably pick Go. So we can have a look around what's available for Go. If I basically went the way of having the REST OAuth plugins in a different language, then the question is basically what would be the easiest? Probably Node.js, honestly. I would expect, because that one is kind of, that's all you do there all the time is just REST requests. So I expect there to be like very nice and stable frameworks for Node.js. So in that case, it probably would make sense to do it in Node.js, honestly. I mean, one thing I wanted to check. Okay, so let's just have a look at YouTube API. Right, so they did have code samples, right? Okay, so yeah, there are code samples for Go. Okay. There's, weirdly enough, there's like most examples in Ruby, which is quite strange. Like, why would there be more examples for Ruby? Am I missing something? Is there some... Maybe it's just that some dev at Google loves Ruby. Who knows? So okay, let's go to the live stream API. It was YouTube live stream API. So there's the OAuth. Okay, so there seem to be okay, the Go one is not in a great state apparently. Oh, but it seems to be it seems to be actively developed. Where do you see insights? Right, I want to like kind of see how active this thing is. Code frequency. I mean, okay, there is stuff happening. It's actually quite a lot of stuff happening. Okay, maybe it's but Yeah, okay, so this is like for everything. Okay. So maybe it's just that the YouTube one isn't like the best. Access to the YouTube data API. Okay. New service. I mean, this looks promising, but okay, what's the situation on Twitch actually? Twitch API Go. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for. Get top games, get users. So this is basically everything but chat, I think. And it does have the webhook subscriptions. Get yeah, maybe then try to go for the docs directory Twitch tab. So this does look like it might be reasonable to just use Go instead of C++. Because I mean, I would definitely prefer to have as much of the code in one language as possible. Like, it's one thing to have different plugins in different languages. But being able to kind of keep the core of the chatbot in one language would be nice, because it kind of minimizes the amount of context switching I would have to do. And especially it does look like there's like reasonably active repos. Let's do code frequency. Yeah, so it's not like super active, but it's like there seems to be stuff happening. Especially recently. Okay. I mean, one good thing is, like, with Go, I kind of expect that the currently available libraries will be more tailored towards this kind of use case, as in being a client of something. The problem with C++ is, like, whenever I search for libraries for something, it's always finding the server-side thing, which, I mean, that makes perfect sense because that's what C++ is used for. But yeah, it's kind of annoying that, like, no one is really working on the client-side stuff. Okay, Well, start writing down notes, I guess. Oh no, my notepad is again broken. Sure. So, and let's make the font bigger. So, okay, option 1 would be write my own REST OAuth. So the pluses on that is that this would be a good library for people to use, since currently there's basically nothing available except for the Microsoft one, and again the devs of the library are telling me not to use it, so I'm like, yeah. The negative is, of course, this is a lot of work. Then option option 2 would be switch the core to Go or some other language. The benefit is, like, client-oriented languages should have better libraries. The negative, of course, is, like, I would still prefer C++. Then there's, like, the hybrid option, which is, like, option 3. Just do the interface to services, YouTube, Twitch, in another language. The benefit here is kind of similar to this one. The kind of benefit over option 2 is scope of where I apply a different language is limited. The negative, of course, is I still prefer C++. And another negative is for a lot of context switching between languages. Like, I can definitely imagine that, you know, if I'm working on a particular feature, I kind of need to touch the entire stack end to end. I need to first, like, import some more data from Twitch or YouTube. Then I need to kind of maybe go into the core, introduce some new data structures to kind of represent these types of messages or something, you know, to that effect. And then I need to actually do the, you know, the modules that will react to these messages being received. So, like, as an example, you know, for someone following me on Twitch, like, this is a thing that needs to be ingested through the thing that's interfacing with Twitch. That needs to generate a message that comes into the pipeline. Now, there needs to be a particular format for the message there. The good thing is 0MQ is mostly just like, you know, we are just sending opaque strings. So maybe from that perspective, it wouldn't really introduce like an extra work there. Maybe, I don't know. I still haven't we haven't really reached that point where we can even play with the 0MQ. You know, I'm still kind of stuck in these like very initial phases. And then obviously, like, whichever language I have written the thing that actually like does something based on, hey, I have a new follower, which could be that like it emits a signal to like send a message to the chat to thank the person. It could be that it like renders something in a window that I show in my OBS. Yeah. Like the option one, there's also this thing that like, I'm actually not sure how many people would find this useful. Because there is, okay, so if I search for REST C++ client, I don't know. It's like there are some REST libraries already available. Give me a second. What was the library? This thing. So this was the like one step above libcurl. Okay. I mean, one alternative option would be actually not make my own thing and try to extend one of these libraries. But the problem with that is like, then the library actually needs to be like super solid. Like for example, looking at the history, like it has been pretty active this year, but there's like very little the year before. I mean, okay, to be fair, this is like the end of the year, so. But I mean, maybe. Yeah, I think this is maybe one level below of the thing I want to do. So maybe like if I make the library, it would be using this, but yeah, this is like one level below, I think. So okay. Okay, so let's just write some notes here. So, and some ideas, right? I could build on top of existing libraries, like, what was it called? CPR, right? Like CPR. So I would definitely need a request library, but I also need basically a server, because the way OAuth works, you have the callback where the server, the JavaScript in the browser window talks back to your like local server. Okay. OAuth 2. Okay, no, this is probably not the right thing. Yes, okay. Protocol flow, okay. Oops. Okay, this was a weird jump. So we have the authorization request, authorization grant, access token. Okay, so this is not part of what we would be implementing, because this is already, I already have the token and you are trying to access something and you just put it as part of the request going to the server. So the thing I'm kind of talking about here are these two things. Hey, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm struggling with OAuth because I'm using C++ and turns out there are no good libraries for OAuth for C++. So I'm kind of trying to like, okay, let me switch to this. This stream might basically I'm trying to figure out which of these three options I will pick to do. One option is I implement my own OAuth library, which would be good because then people can use it, and since right now there's basically nothing and the only library that's kind of there, I was told not to use it by the devs because apparently it's not really being like updated or supported. I could just switch to a different language that has like better, like it's more focused towards like client-side operations, like Go, or even something scripted, perhaps. The problem with C++ is like everything around C++ is kind of server-oriented. Yes, I could do Node.js. I'm I think I will have to touch JavaScript at some point, but yeah, like it's definitely an option. Node.js would be an option in the like, you know, option 2 category. And the third option is kind of in a similar way, but just do the interface to the services in that language. As in, I would write a module that's, you know, in Node.js or, you know, Go, whatever. Exactly, microservices. Each of these things kind of has its benefits and downsides, and I'm trying kind of to go around and gauge like how complicated would it be to do option 1. If doing option 2, which language would be the best? I mean, the easiest would definitely be probably Node.js, because that one is just like, it's pure, like, okay, there's some server stuff these days, but JavaScript was the client language, so obviously like it should have like client support for everything. Very good C++ in, what do you mean? Okay, can you elaborate on that? I'm actually interested. What do you mean by very good with Node.js? Or you mean like running it inside of my C++ through like the V8 or whatever is the thing called? Oh. That's interesting. Okay, but that's kind of perverse. So I would write like libraries in C++, then use them in Node.js, and then... Okay. How to call C code? Okay. Just give me a second. Let's just open it here. Okay. I mean, honestly, this is kind of upside down of what I want. But yes, I mean, okay, this would be also interesting. Yeah. I mean, okay, so that's almost like an option 4 then. So it's kind of like option 3 would be kind of microservices. Option 4 would be kind of C bindings approach. Yeah. That sounds like an interesting option as well. Write the service interface stuff in Node.js. Right, okay, so the idea for this particular project, which is an interactive stream bot, is basically have... Okay, let me just switch around things. So, this kind of started me thinking about the queuing system. So, I kind of want to have modules that ingest things from YouTube and Twitch. As in, the chat messages, you know, like events, someone subscribed, someone followed, there's a raid, whatnot, all this, basically whatever information there is kind of that can be emitted. Have it just, you know, be submitted to the 0MQ, which is just like a pure, very simple messaging system. It's, you know, publisher subscriber. And then have other modules that listen to those events and react. So you can have like a chatbot that, like, when, you know, someone joins the stream or like messages for the first time, it sends a greeting. One thing that I wanted to use this for is actually I stream VR games, and you can write usually like modules into those, and it's usually C#. So having like a simple module that listens to like a particular command in the chat that like changes the color of the background or something, you know, like simple interactive things. And I also wanted to do like interactive games during intermissions, like when I need to have a short break, I would just start a very simple game where people can, you know, play with the bot essentially. So that's kind of the idea. I'm still on like super early phases. Basically the only thing I've done so far is integrate the IRC chat support in Twitch. So I actually have like a simple bot that just like greets people in the chat. It's not unfortunately running right now, but it does exist. But I got really stuck on OAUTH because for C++ they're really like, again, if I go, yeah, so there's this library, but I run into issues with this library, and apparently this is like no longer supported. And like if you look at the issues, there's like 644 issues and there's like no one responding. And there's like an issue like every, I don't know, 3 days or something, and like no one is responding on these issues. And like a previous dev of this library basically told me that this is dead, so yeah. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Okay, so let's kind of okay, I don't know how to read that sentence. Oh, if isn't a bit too... Oh, okay, now I got it. I was misreading what you said. Okay, sure. Microservices could be an overkill, but I guess it really depends on how you make it. Because you can really kind of build it in a way where it pretty much works exactly the same as if you would link everything together. It's just that everything has its own main, right? It's kind of the only complexity that kind of comes in is how exactly you kind of maintain the mesh. Like, how do the libraries know where to, like, how do the microservices know where exactly they should connect and to what? That's kind of the complexity you get with the microservices. But yeah, I mean, so Docker is more of a deployment thing, not like if you just want to run stuff locally, you don't really need Docker. You can just, like, if you just have bunch of binaries, you know, you can just run them. You don't really need Docker for that. Docker is for, like, you want to kind of encapsulate something so it basically has all it needs to run. That's when you use Docker. So it's more, I would say, more of a deployment thing, not necessarily related to the microservices themselves. Yeah, I mean, okay, but right, like, think about it, like what you can literally do, and this is a microservices model. You can literally say, like, okay, like there's no network, everything is localhost, and you can literally have, okay, like port 5000 is the ingest, port 5001 is the 0MQ, port 5002 is, you know, I don't know, like the chatbot core, whatever. So basically you just have this mapping, and you can literally have it in like one text file, right? And you just start all the binaries, and they just read, all of them just read this text file, and they know exactly what ports they should connect to, because they know, you know, which things they're interested in. So if, like, as long as you are on localhost, and again, like, this is a chatbot, so it will be either running like on my machine here or on my, you know, Linux machine that I have, you know, basically next to me. So it's always kind of running on the same machine anyway. So at that point, you don't really need the complexity of having Docker, because, like, this is, like, even though it's microservices, this kind of ends up being like one blob that you always have together. It's just that you know, instead of like calling a function, you are sending a message over network. But it all ends up being, you know, like localhost stuff. So even with microservices, I wouldn't really be like overthinking that part, because like I don't need like crazy features like load balancing and I don't know whatnot, you know, replication. Like, I don't need any of that part of microservices. I really just, like, I would use the feature of microservices as in each of those can be different language, but literally it's like you basically have libraries, but like instead of just them, you know, calling to each other through like normal call functions, they just communicate through network. Right. So okay, so what are my top contenders then? So I find the option one appealing, because I would be creating something that kind of is useful for people, potentially. So this is definitely a top contender, but it's like this would be super hard. Then Node.js, I'm kind of hesitant to use it, but it would be a good fit, I have to admit. And I could literally write the entire thing in Node.js. and it should be fine. Like there shouldn't really be shouldn't be any issues. Yeah, so one problem with C++ is like it really kind of missed the train on the entire web services stuff. Like you have bunch of support on the server side, of course, because most of the things are written in C++. But on the client side, like the situation with the libraries is just really bad. And Google had some nice libraries, but they are deprecated now. This library for Microsoft seems to be dead also, so it's kind of like it's being abandoned by the big players. Yeah, don't know what to say. So if I did Go, so with Go, one thing I wanted to look around is the benefit is I do know how to code in Go pretty reasonably well. But I'm not sure like how well Go supports like all the client stuff. Like there's stuff around, but I don't know what's the like status of it. It's kind of hard to gauge. Okay, let's have a look around. So Go language, REST. Oh no, client. No, these are servers. God damn it! What the heck? So Go is kind of, it's an interesting language. It's kind of, I would call it like a hybrid between Java and C almost, which sounds weird. Like it's kind of like a C with weird type system and garbage collection ish. Like that's kind of what it is. Like it's not as high level as C++. Like C++ has these very nice abstractions, although they were working on actually generics, code generics. I think they were actually promising. Yeah, there's like design draft. It's not functional. It's I think you can do some functional stuff in it, but honestly well, there are classes, but the problem is it's kind of, the classes kind of work like C structs pretty much. It's like you do have methods, but it's kind of like, okay, if you just recently started with C++, you probably wouldn't know this, but basically in C++, if you have, you know, a class X that has like a method, you know, whatever, what this actually compiles to is something like this. So it ends up being a function that takes this class as a first parameter. That is kind of how C++ classes work. And in Go, yeah, so in Go, it's very much like that. Like you kind of are just writing these like basically, you know, functions, and if they kind of accidentally take the class as the first parameter, they become methods, essentially. And Go has like stuff like interfaces and things, so there is some, there is like objective programming in there, but it's like very limited and kind of strange. Like it's a very unique way of implementing classes and interfaces. Honestly, I kind of ended up using it as like again, like a C-style language that does have, you know, classes and garbage collection on the side, but yeah. Okay, let's scrap the Go idea. I think like the Go would be good for me because it's just like I kind of know it, so it would be easy to kind of jump into it. But really, it would be so easy for me to get stuck again just on things are not supported. So honestly, the two things would be these two. And I mean, then I need to decide if I kind of go the microservices approach, as in I just yeah, I mean, I'm always kind of doing that. So my other project is actually this thing. Let me just quickly show you. But it's Sudoku solver, but this is all C++, even though this is a website. So this is C++ transpiled into JavaScript. And all of this stuff is just C++. It's just being compiled into WebAssembly and, you know, loaded in the browser. There actually should be a link at the I thought I have links on my stream. Maybe I don't. So it's on GitHub. Like all the source code is on GitHub, both for the UI and the solver. But it's let me just. Okay, so this is my GitHub. It's GitHub Happy Cerberus, the same as my stream. And then in here you should be able to find the. Oh, I need to change my pins actually. I just realized these are some pretty old projects. But yeah, so this is the solver, and then from the solver you should be able. There should be a link, Sudoku UI. So this is the UI, and that links to the playground. So yeah, sorry, a little bit complicated to get there, but it is all cross-linked. Yeah. And I mean, this project has been going pretty well. Like I streamed this last weekend, and like so far this is going well. Right now it's a little bit stuck because it's actually C++ 20, so it's like the absolute bleeding edge of stuff. So I kind of end up in these situations where I kind of need to wait on the compilers and things to kind of catch up with me, and that's also why like everything is failing and stuff. But yeah, like this is a fun project. The chatbot is kind of my second project that I started streaming. Again, the motivation kind of comes from like when I take a break, I don't want to just have like a, you know, be right back screen. I want to have something that's actually interactive and, you know, people don't just leave. Okay, so okay, so these are the two options, and then if I went the so if I go the Node.js way, I can either go for the microservices or I could do some bindings approach where I write C++ libraries, import it into Node.js. So Yeah, I think these are kind of the, yeah. Or I mean, actually with Node.js also I can do the V8 approach and do it the other way around, and I can basically run JavaScript inside my C++. Yeah, I'm sure this is not amazing. Yeah, I'm kind of aware, like this was a long time ago, but there was a point where in my like 2 employers ago or 3 employers ago, we were basically looking for a way to extend our that was actually a C code thing, with like the ability to script simple things. So yeah, we did actually look around, like what should we use, like should we use V8, should we use you know, what's the scripting thing that's using the tables, I always forget. Damn it, now I will not remember. Anyway, there's this thing that's most used in gaming. Oh, thanks for the follow. And thanks for the follow again. So we kind of use a bunch of different things. I don't actually remember what we settled on at the end, honestly. But yeah, like V8, it wasn't V8 because V8 was way too like complex. It's a massive beast. Okay, so yeah. So okay, let's think about this. So if I go, okay, let's just write some thoughts. So if I go the C++ route, I would definitely be delaying this project like by a lot, because it will definitely take me a while to actually write, like make the library. So that's definitely not great. Yeah, I mean, like if I'm doing something scripted, then I would actually go with Node.js over Python. I don't have a very good relationship with Python, I have to admit. I'm kind of, so the thing is, like I'm actually so why do you have it in your name then? It's an amazing choice. Anyway, so when I was actually like learning programming, like Python, I think Python wasn't even a thing at that point yet. And it kind of started picking up when I already kind of learned C++ reasonably well. And that was when like Python started like shooting up. So it kind of missed me completely. Like I never really had the need to actually use it. Because for scripting I actually used Perl initially. That was like the, you know, old style scripting language of choice, the Unix, preferred language of choice, if you actually wanted to like script something significant. And for simple things, I always kind of use like just bash or very simple scripting stuff. But now these days, like you have these entire industries almost that basically use Python exclusively. Like there's a lot of like scientific computation that's just done completely in Python. But when I learned, like, that wasn't a thing at all, so it kind of missed me. And I like, this is kind of the first project where I actually honestly got stuck with C++. Like so far, like this is the first time where I'm kind of like, okay, like I cannot easily do this in C++. Like so far everything was just like, even honestly, like even the Sudoku solver, right? Like even this thing, like this was actually pretty easy to make in C++, even though it's HTML and transpiled into JavaScript. Like setting this up wasn't hard, and writing all this stuff wasn't hard. Like yes, I had to figure out like, okay, like new things, like okay, how do I like draw SVG elements, and things like that. And I need to kind of learn a little bit of JavaScript as to know the JavaScript events basically. But none of this was like hard. But the OAuth thing is literally the first, like this is literally the first time where I actually am at the point where I'm saying, okay, like C++ might not be a good language for this. And the only way to kind of make it a good language would be actually, basically write it myself from scratch, which, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out this stream. If I should take the plunge and just go the hard route, or just kind of give up on my beloved C++ and use something else. Yeah, I mean that's the great thing about C++. Like it's a very complicated language. To be fair, I still kind of maintain like learning C++ to the point where you can like be reasonably proficient in it. It's actually not that hard. But the amazing benefit of C++ is you can literally do anything in it, apparently, except for this. Yeah, like if you come from the website, then it's kind of, especially from like the client side of things, that's a very different development model, and everything is different there. I was always a backend person, so C++ was only like, it was the most sensible thing to use, because you like, when you are in the backend, you always need efficiency. And even if you're writing like simple code, like, you still don't want the code to just like end up doing weird stuff for no reason. Although, honestly, these days like JavaScript is so optimized that it's kind of crazy. But it has other issues, right? Like it's, with JavaScript is much more about the language, like the core language itself is just crap. Okay, so one thing I actually don't know, and maybe you guys know, so Node.js is like the like server-side JavaScript, right? Like when you want to run JavaScript as a binary-ish, right? Yeah. So can you actually do like the the more single-threaded. Okay. But can you do like the more strict versions of JavaScript with like, you know, TypeScript and there's like the things that are JavaScript but compile into like actual JavaScript? Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, there's a lot of Nest.js. What the heck? It's called Nest.js and they have a cat as a like mascot? It's called Nest. It should be a bird. What the hell? It's such a weird choice. Okay. Yeah, okay, so it has decorators. Okay, cool. Okay, do you guys by chance know how this relates to anything? Because, so this is actually a thing that people use at our work. What the hell? This is the first time I'm seeing this kind of pop-up. Will you allow Vue.js to access virtual reality devices? What? Have you guys ever seen this? Like, maybe this is too small. Okay. Okay, interesting, very interesting. Okay, so this is more for like the front end stuff, not really. Okay. Yeah, it's you know, times don't change. Like, I remember writing my like crazy frameworks in C++ for like various things, and of course like for things that already like people implemented like 1,000 times. Right. Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, it's great for learning stuff if you just build stuff yourself. Okay. Standalone apps. Okay. So what does this actually microservices? Oh, this one has support for the RabbitMQ. Interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of like, the thing I'm wondering is which one of these kind of provides a nice support for just like writing straight up apps, right? Like something like this. And one thing is like, so since this is single threaded, I'm actually not sure how that then works with the things like if you have the async callback from the OAuth. Okay, let's just Google some stuff. So Nest.js OAuth. All right. Right, because okay, right, because with this model you don't actually have like a main loop running, right? It's like the main loop is basically just the event processing engine. Basically everything is kind of triggered by something else. Right, right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, but it's multi-threaded, like not for one JavaScript, right? Like it's multi-threaded in a way that it can implement, that it can run multiple things, right? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Right, so let's have a quick look at what was it? It was YouTube live stream chat API. Right. There was they had some example code over here somewhere. Here. Okay. Yeah, no, I think I get it. No worries, like keep spamming, it's fine. You know, as long as you are spamming with, you know, actual information, that's good. Right. Okay, so this looks like there is... So there's actually like a JavaScript library available for the YouTube stuff. Which I guess is like just a wrapper. Yeah. Okay. So the thing is, like, if I'm yeah, okay, that makes sense. But if I understand correctly, these examples, they actually do provide like a wrapper for the objects. Right, okay. So let's see. If I just do like a very simple okay, there's there's a lot of steps. Okay, so this is Now the thing I'm kind of wondering about is if I actually want to have a web server. I probably actually don't. Like I kind of just want to have a CLI, like a simple CLI thing. What? Yeah, okay, let's actually try to do something like that during this stream. Okay, so is there actually, I'm thinking about something like this, like TypeScript, Node.js, CLI. With Node.js. Yeah. This actually looks like a reasonable tutorial. Yeah, the thing, I should already have a Node.js, I think. Yep. Ah, so much output. Okay, is this like all it outputs? Yeah. I already should have all the basic stuff installed, I think. So okay. Yeah, kind of. So I have a Windows machine, but I have the Windows subsystem for Linux, which I use for most of my development. Because it's super easy to just, it's like a full Ubuntu basically. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I have just gotten like a message from Restream that I have gotten 100 messages today. I think you are the one person responsible for that solo Python. Fun stuff. Right. Okay. So let's just try to do something. So I should actually have what has it to be sure? Yeah, this thing. Yep. So I want Okay, let's just take it step by step. So first of all, studio code, node Node.js. Out of the box. Okay, so I think I just need to create like a new project or something. How do I do that over here? Guess or new window. Right, new new file. No, that's not really what I wanted. Damn it, how? Open this is what I wanted. So now I'm in the WSL. Open folder. Okay, sure. So let's just do and I guess I can rename it later. Okay, cool. So I have this. So okay, we have something. Okay, I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. Sure, let's just do hello world. That's a good way to start always. Now run and debug. Node.js. Oh, okay. So this actually, another question is how the heck do I make this bigger? Because this is very small. Right, okay. Yeah, I will need to read up a bit on JavaScript, like basics. Okay, but let me first fix this somehow. Display settings. Let's just do 200. Okay. Okay. Well, now everything is a little bit too big. Settings, configuration, terminal. So now I don't need this to be 32. Let's just make it, I don't know, like 12. And I guess I need to open a new session. What? Yeah, okay, I think this terminal. Oh no, it's okay. That was weird. Yeah, it's weirdly fuzzy. So I get the feeling that it doesn't scale exactly as it should with the DPI. But this thing now should actually be readable on the stream, hopefully. And of course I can now downscale the actual text. Preferences, settings, text editor. Oh geez, where was this? Search settings font. Let's do 16, yep. Okay, that looks pretty reasonable to me. Let me know how that looks for you guys, because My stream is very low resolution, so I'm not quite sure how it looks. That's cool. Yeah, now the alerts from Restream are massive. Okay, cool. Right, so we have something running, right? So let's kind of try to figure out running, debugging, sure. Yeah, I don't, maybe eventually. Okay. Now, I guess the question is WebStorm. What is WebStorm? Oh, as an ID. Yeah, maybe. I think I will stay with the Visual Studio Code for a short bit, and then we will see what happens. JetBrains, right, okay. Yeah, then I kind of expect it to be pretty good. Okay. Okay. How exactly would I make this work? So I kind of went around the entire like event thing by just having buttons. Yeah, I mean, is there like a web npm oops. So I'm actually not sure if that's the one. Yeah, I think the one I was looking at was actually, I think, this one. But okay, so that let's check that. So YouTube. Wrapper of this. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. The difference, I guess, is this is written by some external person, and Google this thing. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I will try to use this thing. Or are you talking about a different package? Wait. Because this one is package Google APIs, right? There's... Yeah, so there's also Google. Yeah, that's a different thing. It's kind of funny that there's a package Google that's not owned by Google. Yeah. Okay. So npm install Google APIs. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Okay. I guess I should actually update my stream description because I'm keep claiming that this is C++, which it hasn't been for a while now. Okay, so just give me a second. Oh, this is under here. Yes. Okay. Okay. Updated. Right. Adding a package.json. Okay. What is that? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so this is like all the metadata that you could think of. Okay. Okay. Right, so I mean, so it would be like the minimal one. Name, description, version, dependencies, sure, okay. Where's my, here. So new file, package.json. So dependencies, I guess, is the, what was it called again? Google APIs. Right, but okay. Is this just a list of things or package JSON dependencies, right? adding okay, so it's the name of the package and then the version. Okay, sure, go ahead. I have my coffee here, but I'm running out. I will need to like either make more or something. Okay. Semantic version. I can specify. Okay, but I'm not quite getting what these like special symbols mean, because this is just describing like the numbering, but what is this and this? Okay, so let's have a look at the Google APIs. Where the heck was that? Oh, it's actually here, right? Yes. So the current version is where do I see the version? What the heck? Ah, this one. So Google APIs and so this actually perfect. I think we want this one. Okay, cool. This pop-up information is quite useful. Okay, so let's have a look through this stuff. Working. Yeah, I'm not sure. This doesn't really apply. Google APIs Explorer, sure. Creates a blocker client, retrieves the details of a block given the block ID. Wait, okay, so okay, so I either can use callbacks. Okay, sure. Yeah, I kind of prefer this. Oh. Actually, maybe this is the... not much. I was trying to figure out what the heck the special symbols... Okay, let's just close this because I don't need it for now. I was trying to figure out what these special symbols mean, but actually just like being here, it actually pops up the description. So this is quite useful. And now I'm looking at the examples. Yeah, I know there is a version, it's just that I wasn't sure about the caret and the tilde, like what exactly they mean. But yeah, again, it pops up, so now I know. Now I'm looking basically at the 3 different programming models for the Google library. Yeah. So the tilde is basically the minor version can be higher, and the caret is that like anything except for the major version can be higher. Okay. I mean, this might be the closest thing to what I like. This might be the end up with the cleanest code doing this stuff. This is also kind of okay, but I'm yeah, I think this will be the cleanest approach. So let's just try to do it. Let's just try to run this example. Yeah. Okay, and then just have this. I think that's it. What's popping up over here? Okay, no idea what that means. That's fine. I want, not sure, this thing. Pass a valid API. Ah, yes, okay. Because my current API key is just API key. Okay. Reference authentication. OAuth client, right. In the Phoenix, I may need. Okay. So these are the. I don't really care about the refreshes so far. Okay, wait, so this one is using API key. With the credentials sent to your OAuth client, you are ready to go. Well, okay, but how exactly do I then broker? Ah, okay, so this actually takes an OAuth client. Okay, so first I need to do the OAuth client, then I pass it into the OAuth here. Okay. Okay, we are getting there, I guess. Yep. Access tab offline, scopes. Right, and I need to grab these things. And they said this should be in my developer console. Okay, let's have a look. Okay. Right. Okay, I guess I need to generate a project. Sure. Okay. Stuff is happening, and sorry that I'm not showing this, but this is probably stuff I shouldn't be showing on the stream. Okay. Create. Oh jeez, there's like a lot of configuration to do here over here. Terms of service. Man. There's a lot of configuration over here. Okay, fortunately it actually verification not required. Wait, what? On your project APIs and OAUTH. Credentials. Okay. Create a new OAuth client. Okay, I did that. Select web application for the application type. Okay, maybe I didn't do that. Application. Okay. Authorized. Okay, sure. This thing. Okay, so I have. Okay, so I have the information now. Okay. Okay. Yes, this is kind of annoying that I need to do most of this out of your view, guys. What does this thing actually? Right. Okay. So this is just a JSON file that has all of the stuff. Okay, you know what? I will take a short break and I will refresh my coffee and everything and figure out how to just have the file on the file system so I don't have to like show it and open it. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I have the OAUTH keys over here. And I'm actually showing the keys on the screen. I just realized. Okay, I will need to regenerate that, but it's okay. So where the heck? Okay. Okay, that's right. So if you're still around Python, I'm just looking at the example that you posted. So I think it looks a little bit more verbose than the thing that's available here, but let's see. So they have. Damn it, did I just close it or something? Yeah, okay. So OAuth client. Okay, so this thing should go to here. Right, so this thing reads the file with the keys. This thing scopes, and I guess this should just get the OAuth client. Is that correct? Ah. Right. Okay, I still need this piece of code, yes. Okay, I guess actually this entire thing. Instead of scopes blocker, so I guess that comes over here instead of all of this. So let's just comment out this piece. Okay, so what is this doing? It creates a new promise. Generate or URL. Creates a server. So this is for the callback, yes, okay. Oh right, and the wait a second. Where's the end of this scope? It's over here. Resolve reject. Right. Wait, so resolve. So this actually returns the, like, fills in the promise. Okay, and reject is just an error. Okay, I'm getting it. Now I'm getting it. So this returns the promise. So where is this actually called? Authenticate scopes. Okay, so after the promise is fulfilled, then either catch the error or client runs sample. Oh, it puts in the okay. I'm still a bit lost, but let's see. Okay. I identifier scopes has already been. Yeah, so I'm redefining this somewhere. Over here. Right, I guess I don't need. What the heck am I doing? Okay, let's just copy this entire thing for now. And yeah, I guess I can just replace this entire thing. Okay, cannot find. Cannot find module open. Okay. I guess I need that as a dependency here. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, what the heck happened with my notifications? I'm not getting notifications anymore for the chat. That's weird. Okay, so do I just do like open something over here, or is that incorrect? Where's the npm stuff? Yes, okay. Oh, it did actually autocomplete? Oh, cool. What does the minus? So the save will actually edit the package.json, or what does it do? And I guess there's no like, sure, okay. Yeah, okay, and I've seen this blink through, so I think the minus s is indeed that it actually edits this file. Yeah, okay, cool. And my notifications are finally working again, cool. Okay, what the... Okay. So, maybe... No, I think I did actually pull them. Okay, anyway. Let's see what happens now. Yeah, I'm still missing extra stuff, right. So, so you said npm install what was it, server something, server destroy -s. Yes, okay, so it edits this. Cool, yeah. Okay, stuff is making sense. Stuff is actually happening. Legacy, sure. Okay, so now it's complaining that the scopes are nonsense. Okay, cool. But I do have the OAuth stuff. So wait, so authenticate. So this stuff is actually working. It's just that the part that actually tries to fetch stuff is fetching nonsense. So let's go back to this example. There was the this thing. So let's do these scopes, right? And the sample, yeah, so let's just replace this with where the heck was it? This thing, right? Okay. And yeah, let's just rename it to run sample. Run sample. Okay, I don't quite get this syntax. Function client any. Okay, sorry, give me a second. There's something wrong with the notifications, so sometimes I don't get notifications that you are writing into the chat. The basic point, sure. Okay, so specifically the part I'm not getting is what is this client that's getting passed into the run sample, because the previous run sample didn't take any parameters, and now this one is actually taking parameters. So I'm not quite sure where to actually put the params now. Like, would I do this? Or is that wrong? So the example page is just on straight up on npm. If you search for Google APIs on npm, it's under the OAuth client section. So basically I'm trying to do this part over here. Main. Yeah, I mean, so okay, so this is the part I don't get. I think this is some JavaScript magic, because like there's a const params that's being mentioned here. Like, does it just magically get passed? Because here the main is just called without anything. It's just called main. So I think this is some JavaScript stuff I'm not getting. I mean, like the documentation is okay, it's just that I'm not quite getting the JavaScript syntax over here. So I mean, this calls main, right? But main is an async function that takes params. But here main is just code without anything. So yeah, there's some weird mismatch. Blocker is not defined. Oh, wait a second. Yes, okay. There's some stuff that I deleted. Right, okay. Right, so actually this thing, this thing, blocker, should actually be over here, and your, instead of your API key, this should actually be the client. So I actually think this is how it should look like. So they should take the client should be passed over here, and it's kind of starting to make sense now. Google require Google APIs, yes. Google, yep. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, I will have a look at the GitHub repo. It's not a function. Wait a second. Blocker free. I mean, No. Yeah, okay. Probably you are right. Okay, let's see. Ah, yes, okay. This is a very different type of issue. Wait, what the heck? Ah, right, I need to enable the API. Okay, sure. Okay. And let me just, while I'm here, oops, no, what? Okay, this was a bit weird. Right. There's actually multiple APIs for YouTube. I think I have enabled the correct one. Okay, let's try now. So now the API should actually be enabled. No. Oh, wait a few minutes for the action to propagate. Okay, sure. Okay, I think I need to wait before this kind of clicks in. But okay, so let's just try to have a look at this code. Yeah, I can see how this can get very, very messy, yes. But I mean, so far it's not that bad, it's just that some of the things I'm not quite getting, like they're like the weird like parameter passing here, but I mean now it works, right? Like now I call it with client and it gets client and everything is fine. Okay, let's just try to run it again. Okay, cool. So it actually does work now. So let's see if I can make it work with YouTube. So the actual API that I'm interested in, okay. Okay, let's just do the same thing over here. And I could have just renamed it, sure. But okay, let's keep it like that. YouTube dot live broadcasts get okay, but now I need something, so I need to have a look at the API itself. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at that at some point. Well, not this one actually, sorry. I was looking at the other one. Holy crap, where is it? There was this. Well, maybe I closed it. YouTube live stream chat. Damn it. Chat API. Oops. Yes, this thing specifically. Okay. Okay, so yes, so this is actually the method I want, I think. List the broadcasts. Because the thing is, like, the broadcasts have the IDs that I need to get. So yes, list get, and then yes, so the params are broadcast status should be all. Why does this keep jumping up and down, damn it? Okay. So broadcast status all. And mine true. Okay, let's try this. Okay, and I guess then just do console.log. Yes, so this is YouTube dot something something, right? Is there a way to just like, if I just print it like this, will it print something meaningful? Like, kind of like I'm looking for kind of a debug print, or like just dump the entire content. I guess I can just try and see. I wonder if this will actually do anything. Okay, so this is wrong. List. So this is a method. Oh wait, so this is a method that returns a promise. Okay. So then I guess YouTube oh shoot. JavaScript promise. Okay, so I guess just YouTube.then. Right. And Right, how do I do just like a simple lambda then? Okay, yes. So something like that. Okay, will something like this work? Just get the list, and then when that's done, just print it out. Okay, I hope I'm not totally butchering the syntax. Okay, let's see what happens. Missing required parameters part. Ah, okay. Right, because this is yes, okay. Well, I guess I actually want everything, don't I? Wait a second. So this actually describes what I get back. Okay, cool. Sure. So where's the... Oh, this thing, right. The part... comma separated list. Okay. So part and this thing. Okay, that should be good. Insufficient permission. Ah, yes, okay, because this thing doesn't have the correct scope. Right, and these were actually listed over here somewhere. I have seen that. Yeah, okay. Scopes. Yep. Let's just get them over here. Cool. Right. Run. Okay. Yep. Okay, so many windows asking me to like authorize this app. Okay, incompatible parameters specified in the request mine and broadcast status. Oh, damn it, did I misread how I'm supposed to use this? So I get the part, specify exactly one. Ah, okay, so it's either broadcast status or mine. Okay, sure. Well then, just do mine true. That's good enough. Run. YouTube then is not a function. Okay. Oh, because I did a wait on that. Oh, right. So how the heck do I actually get the data? Because it seems to actually be working now. So wait, so this will be... Yeah. So do I actually just want to do like console log this? Maybe that's actually what I want. Like that? Am I reading that correctly? Okay, let's see. Okay. So wait a second, so this is actually the data headers. I think the data is then what I want. Okay. Yeah, I think we are getting there. Actually, wait a second. Back to the API. So let's have a look at the actual output. And the thing is, I'm only interested in the current broadcast, so I think I actually want to make it slightly different. So I will get etech, page info, items, live broadcast resource. And the only thing I want out of this is the ID. Okay, so let's go back. And over here, list by broadcast status. I think that's what I actually want. I want broadcast status active. Okay, so instead of mine, let's do broadcast status active. And then over here, let's print data. Okay, so this was, response items. Okay, so it should be data.items. Well, let's brute force it. Data.items0.id. This will probably fail, but if I understand the API. Oh no, okay. So I think this is actually my current ID. That's nice. So then what would the console.dir do? But with this now, what I can do is chat, await YouTube. There was the chat messages list, right? Next page token, blah blah blah. live chat ID. Oh, so this is actually a diff, damn it. Ah, okay. But how, wait, how exactly would I use that? I'm not quite sure I understand. Huh, okay. Live chat messages dot list. Ah, right. Okay. What? Cool. Like somehow, just my brain didn't process that piece of information at all. Like it's just somehow the console you have written in the chat and the console that's over here, just like those two things didn't like meet together. Okay. But anyway, okay, so then I guess I can do that with like something like this, right? But okay, before I do that, yeah, probably. But let's just do this. Also, and I guess okay, let's just comment this out. Right, and let's run it again. Yeah, I don't think this is really working. I think I would have to would basically have to run it in debug mode somehow, which I haven't figured out how to do yet. For this to, yeah, no debug adapter. Run, start debugging, debugger attached. No debug adapter, huh? Yeah, not quite sure what's happening. Minus inspect where? Ah, okay. Ah, cool. Okay. Yeah, so it shows the one live stream that's currently up. Perfect. Okay, so so this is actually the thing I'm looking for. So this is under, yes, so it's item snippet and then live chat ID. So yes, it's actually, yeah, it's exactly this thing. Cool. Chat ID. Okay. So then what do we need to pass into this list? Where the heck is it? List. Okay. So we need to pass the live chat ID. We need to pass the part ID. Right. So this is just what we want to actually grab out of the chat, and I guess that's it. Okay. So let's try that. So live chat ID will be chat ID, and part okay. But that's fine. Author details. Okay. So technically this should just grab all the chat messages from this stream, which I don't think there actually was one. Yeah, no, there was like the stream bot at the very beginning. Okay, so there should be at least that. And I guess console.dir chat. I guess just chat. Okay, sure. And okay, I can just run it over here as well. And let's see what happens. So YouTube chat. Holy crap! There's so much information. Okay, so there's a config, sure. So there's data. This is like the polling nonsense. Okay, so these are items. Oh, because they're actually this gets all relayed. So actually, all the messages are okay. So I guess I want chat.data.items. Probably. And okay, let's get rid of this debug log now. Oh, now I'm running it through the IDE again. That was a mistake. Didn't really want to do that. Yeah, because now it will not. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, it's working. So okay, so at least I can access the data. So there is still a lot of work here because basically what I need to do is how this API works. It needs to be polled at particular intervals, and that's actually what you get in the header of this entire thing. But I mean, at least, yeah, so at least there's display message. Yep. I wonder why this doesn't expand further. But yes. Yeah, so these are all coming from Restream bot because that's the thing that's doing the relay between Twitch and YouTube, but it's definitely working. Yeah, and the body is verified and it's a chat moderator, sure. Okay, no. Cool. Right, so now I at least know how to get at the data. Now I kind of need to figure out, since this will be now in JavaScript, I need to kind of figure out how to do the actual architecture of this thing. So like this call needs to happen. This basically needs to poll at like regular intervals, and I think it kind of makes sense still for this to just like emit messages onto a queue. Yeah, I think I will just ask around for, because I know that the JavaScript devs at our work, they actually use like a queuing. What do you mean by the question? What did I have in mind as a service? I don't quite get what you are asking. Yeah, I mean, yes. So this basically will be something that runs on the background. Because I mean, the point is like it's like the stupidest bot that I want to have at the very beginning is just basically a thing that greets people in the chat. So if someone writes into the chat, it just replies, "Hey, welcome to the chat," or something like that. Right. So I mean, what I'm trying to like, I'm actually not thinking about the part like how to run it. I'm more thinking about the architecture of the thing. Because right, okay. So these so there needs to be some sort of like timer thing that runs this command. Because with each of these messages you get like the pagination token. Well, kind of event driven. So yes, like it can technically be event driven. But there needs to be like a timer thing that does that. So with these messages, okay, let's go back to the documentation, right? So what you get back with this is you get polling interval, which basically tells you how long you should kind of sleep. And then you get like the, which one of this next page token thing. So on the next time you call it, you give it the next page token, which makes sure you get the, you know, you don't get like repeated messages. So that's part of this. So that like one part is actually like a thing that will sit there and keep like asking the YouTube service, you know, give me more data, give me more data. But then of course there needs to be the counterpart that's actually like putting this somewhere, right? Like either this will be put on a queue or some, you know, into something where I can have another pieces of code actually consuming the data. Because again, the entire idea of this, since I'm restreaming across YouTube and Twitch, I kind of want to have like basically parsed messages coming onto the queue, and then something just gets, oh, like I have seen a message on Twitch, which is this content from this person, right? And then something happens, like there's a piece of code that goes, okay, like because I have seen this particular text, I'm also like sending a message to Twitch or to everywhere, whatever, you know, with this response, or I don't know, like running a video on in OBS, or I'm playing an alert, or you know, whatever. So I will need some sort of, I guess, JavaScript framework for like queues or something. I mean, NoSQL would be database. This doesn't really need to be database. This is just a live thing. So this is basically what I'm looking for is literally JavaScript consumer producer framework. Yeah, so the problem is then there are like these distributed ones. I don't necessarily need this to be distributed. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out if there is something relatively lightweight that I could use. Because yes, I mean, like even I could basically use just like 0MQ. I think this one also has like JavaScript bindings, right? Node.js, right? I mean, this wouldn't be horrible. Well, Redis doesn't. Redis is again just a key value store. It's not. I don't think. Or can you have like subscriptions in Redis? I don't actually know. Maybe you can. But this is more like. Yeah, like there's another word for that. It's like a subscriber pattern JavaScript. Yeah, something like this actually. So pops up or a queuing system or something like that. Interesting. Yeah, but honestly, like even this looks like way too complicated. Like, unless I actually want to make this distributed, I'm really thinking of something that's like basically straight up inside of JavaScript, like no external processes, anything. And I'm sure that there's a way to do it. I mean, the C++ path is still an option. I'm not quite decided what I will do about that. But like I will either implement everything in JavaScript end to end, and then basically, well, okay, actually, right. So I cannot implement everything in JavaScript. I will definitely have a place in the code that will need to be written in like C# or something, because I will need to have the plugins for like, for example, for Beat Saber, because that one I think is C#. So, and that's actually what I originally wanted to do with the 0MQ. So I could actually just, yeah, I could actually do this. Okay, so this actually might be the most sensible thing to go about it. So what I can do is I just implement. It's basically the hybrid idea from the beginning, where I implement the interface with YouTube using Node.js. It will write messages into 0MQ, and then basically I can have consumers in any language. Right. Now the question here is, okay, so slight issue with the 0MQ is that basically the producers are always servers. I don't think you can have... Yeah, I mean, so if I understand this correctly, this is basically the producer is a server and the subscribers just connect to the server. So then, you know, the YouTube chat, like, polling thing would be a separate service just running in the background, and then whatever wants to consume YouTube messages would connect to that. Which, I mean, that's a slightly different model that I was thinking about, but it also kind of works. So then, okay, let me just open Notepad. Not this one, damn it, that one is stuck. Right. So, okay, what the heck? Right. So, okay, so the architecture of the thing that would be the chat scrapers, I guess is the best name for that, are services exposing data through 0MQ. Then anything that wants to listen to those events just connects to all of them, and there is a standardized format for the messages. So I would basically come up with like a, you know, standard format for the messages that come from the 0MQ, so everything kind of gets like the same formatted data. So, but the tricky part here then is, yeah, okay, so this has a slight issue, because how do I then do the other way around? Because if I want to actually send messages, there needs to be something that's listening on the events that are, you know, a message needs to be sent. Yeah, I kind of feel it cannot be this distributed. Basically what I kind of need, I need some sort of central point where there's two webhooks. Okay, give me a second. Send weapons, they have a message or payload. Well, okay, but now the problem is, So the entire point of me introducing 0MQ is that 0MQ can literally be used from any language very easily. Can webhooks? Because I mean the thing is, like, the kind of the big thing I want to have working is like the middle part, which actually makes it easy for me to plug things in, right? Yeah, I mean, I do understand what webhooks are. It's just that, like, if I search for webhooks C++, yeah, that doesn't look particularly amazing to use. This is again, like, this would be again leaking the complexity into the code where I don't want the complexity to be. Like, the great thing with 0MQ is literally you just connect to a port, and then since inside of the system, like, everything is standardized, like the messages that are flying around are all like basically, you know, special format plain text stuff. Because of that, it's very easy to, you know, like, hide the complexity, because the complexity is always in just like the endpoint. Okay, sure. So okay, let's just do it, right? So what the heck? Come on. Oh, because this is the canvas is file properties. Yeah, let's just do, like, I don't know, 5000 by 5000. This might be too much. Let's do 500 by 500. Well, okay, let's do more. Come on. Okay. Okay, so kind of conceptually what I wanted to have is basically something like this. Okay, and let me just, this is probably not the best thing to do this in. Can I actually, whatever, okay, I will make do. Right, so so basically on one side you have like these components that are basically listening for chat messages, and then also being, the second component is actually able to send chat messages. And right, so something like this. So this is this technically doesn't have to exist, but this is, you know, the like midpoint that just like routes everything. And of course, like, everything is just connected. And the kind of point is like, these things are only connected to the pipeline, and then you have these pieces that just connect to the pipeline, and this could be like the, you know, this is the greeter bot that just like greets people in chat, right? Then this would be, I don't know, like the command processing bot that like listens to specific commands and does like actions based on that. So basically you can kind of imagine this, that, you know, a message comes from Twitch, right? So this Twitch listener will basically send a message. Okay, I want a free form drawing, right? So this thing will send the message to the pipeline, and then these two basically will read the message and let's say it's like the first message from a person that hasn't been seen before. So the greeter bot goes, oh, this is someone I need to greet. So it will send a message to the pipeline, and that will go out to the Twitch writer and the YouTube writer, right? Or maybe just to, you know, just to Twitch, whatever. Like, that's not important. But that's kind of the idea, right? And then let's say the example of the game like integration would be, you know, someone on YouTube sends like I don't know, sends command, you know, chaos or something. So this gets put onto the pipeline, and then the greeter bot goes, you know, reads it, goes, okay, I don't really care about this message, this is just some command. But the command processing bot would go, oh, okay, this is actually something that should trigger something in a game. So at that point, there would be another thing connected here that would actually be the game plugin, right? So then what happens is, so then basically what happens is the command processing bot goes, hey, like there should be a thing happening in this game based on, you know, the command chaos. And then this game plugin then goes, oh, like, you know, I have gotten like a trigger event for stuff should happen. So yes, like this is very much a pub sub, which, you know, basically the 0MQ is what it is. The only problem with I mean, yeah, you can see it here, this pub sub, recursive reply, client server, whatever. The great thing about 0MQ, it's super simple and it's super multi-language. So I like, basically, if I write the middle point in C++, right, all of these pieces can be in any language, and it's just perfect. And it really, honestly, just matters for the game plugin, because those will be in different languages, and it really depends on the specific game, because they, like, different games have different plugin ability. So the only complication here is there really needs to be this like endpoint, because it cannot just be that there is this, you know, Twitch listener. Like, it really needs to be that the Twitch listener is connecting to the pipeline, or actually in this case it would be that the pipeline is actually connecting to all the listeners and the writers are actually connecting to the pipeline. So it's like, if you want to read events, you connect to the pipeline. If you want to expose stuff, the pipeline needs to connect to you, which is the only like complicated piece of setup, because that basically means for the listeners it's easy. It's just like there's one endpoint, which is like, if you want to listen to events, just connect to this port on the pipeline. But for the writers, there basically needs to be a way for the pipeline to be notified that, hey, like there's this thing that you need to connect to, which actually can be solved that actually might, okay, is there some way to kind of have have like a push thing over here? Both the send and receive message are blocking. So could receive. Oh, so this is actually bidirectional. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I wasn't sure if this is actually bidirectional, but it is. So it could be that everything just connects to the, like there literally could be like multiple ports on the pipeline, and like one of them could be the like management port, which just has like the, you know, the things that set up the mesh essentially, right? And there could be that, like, basically if you are a thing that's like exposing stuff, but I mean, maybe I really don't actually need that at all. Like, it could really be that everything just connects to the pipeline. Okay, let's look at the documentation of this thing, because there's actually like interesting things about working with strings. Yeah, okay, this is like completely broken, unfortunately. Let's go to the GitHub. GitHub 0MQ. Yeah. Yeah, there's like a bunch of different versions of this thing. Yeah, so there are like specific so there are specific classes for like only publishers, so you can have like specifically publishers right, you can have like a specific publisher that isn't writable, it's only, you can only have subscribers. Okay. Yeah, I think I don't need to think about how exactly I set this up, but I think this is the way to go. Basically just having the 0MQ in the middle, and I think the middle part I will still make in C++, but then okay, so I guess let's think about like what would be like the minimal setup that I could do and verify that everything works. So I would have to build the pipeline that has basically it would have to have two things, like it would have to have like management socket that listens to these like, hey, I'm a new thing, subscribe to me. You mean like authentication? Probably not, because I mean this is all like a closed system that doesn't really need that. So new, like, starting modules would announce themselves, and then every module has a subscriber socket, because basically every module will do some sort of writing at some point, and it's either the pipeline that subscribes, or right, so it's either that the pipeline subscribes or it's the subscriber on the pipeline, right? Okay, so actually let's just rewrite this so it's more clearer. So every module has a subscriber socket that the pipeline subscribes to, right? So if I go back to the diagram, so basically if we have the Twitch listener that's emitting the messages, right? That's a subscriber socket. So this would be the subscriber socket. So when this thing starts, it needs to tell the pipeline, hey, I exist. And at that point, the pipeline subscribes to this Twitch listener and just keeps getting messages. And then the pipeline itself has a subscriber port that everything connects to. So everything that gets all the messages, and basically all these pieces are just kind of filtering for what they care about. As in, you know, if there is a message of type, you know, send request to Twitch, only the Twitch writer would do anything based on that. If there is like a message of type command, only the command processing bot would listen to that, and so on. So basically at the beginning the pipeline doesn't really know anything, it's just that each of these pieces know that the pipeline is running on a specific port. So when they start up, they basically ping the pipeline and tell the pipeline, hey, I exist. The thing that I guess, so one thing that kind of needs to be standardized across these things is kind of the like message formatting and types, right? Because if you kind of have this situation where like, okay, like only this greeter bot like listens to specific type of messages, like we need to make sure that, you know, the things that actually emit those messages do emit those messages in the specific form, and nothing else emits those messages. And then once that is working, like we can definitely go further. It could be that I'm pretty sure you can even subscribe to like specific type of messages in the 0MQ. So we can literally have like, okay, like this, the messages have types, and like everything gets put on the pipeline and emitted through the pipeline, but for performance reasons, which I don't think will become an issue ever in the system. But technically we could also like have these things like be filtered directly into 0MQ, where it's like the pipeline emits a message, and if nothing is listening to the type of message, like the message just disappears. But I think that's already supported, I would expect. Yeah, I think I will need to read up on like how exactly the 0MQ works, because there's definitely stuff here that already like provides a lot of features for this infrastructure. I'm just not 100% sure like what exactly is implemented in the different languages and whatnot. Yeah. Okay. No good. Like, so basically if I do it this way, really then basically the YouTube listener and YouTube writer will be just in Node.js. The Twitch listener, so the one for the messages can be in C++, that's fine, it's just an IRC client. The same for the writer. And technically in this case this will be one thing because it's just the IRC client that just reads and writes messages. These two kind of can be either the same thing or different thing because these are different endpoints on the API anyway, so doesn't really matter if I put it into one thing or two things. And then I kind of have the freedom to do this part in any languages I want. There is more stuff here because, like, for example, I also want things like not just the messages, but I also want things like you know, someone subscribed and so on. So that would essentially be another box over here, which is like the Twitch events and YouTube events, or things like that, you know, like. And this would also need to end up on the pipeline. Okay, how does this work? Okay, I don't know, anyway. Whatever, you know, you get the point. This will be connected to the pipeline. The same for YouTube, there will need to be something that listens to the, like, subscribers and whatnot, like special events over here. Yeah, no, I'm getting pretty happy with this idea. It's kind of yeah, I had this written somewhere, but I closed it. This was, I think, the option number 3 or something in the initial thoughts at the beginning of the stream. What do you mean DSL? A domain specific link. I mean, I don't really need, like, all I need is just a data format that just says, you know, source of event Twitch, type of event, follower, and then some like metadata describing who actually followed. I mean, honestly, there isn't like both the all the APIs kind of have a bunch of like extra stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just like a nested thing, right? Like it honestly will be kind of similar to this. It will be just a subset of this because I don't really need all this like extra metadata, because the thing is, like, most of this stuff actually is here because you can literally have a bot that's like following a bunch of different channels, right? And then you kind of need to figure out like which channel does this message correspond to and whatnot, and like correctly route the things. So most of this stuff is honestly here for like things like the restream, or you know, what is the thing called? I don't even see it in my chat anymore. The Streamlabs and so on, right? Because those are like services that have their bots running across a bunch of different channels or, you know, Twitch accounts. But since I'm kind of running this locally for myself, there is actually not that much information that I need. Like I will need to handle a bunch of like, you know, so this one is like a text message event. There's definitely like messages that are not text messages that have like, I don't know, you know, just icons, or there's probably like stickers and other weird crap that I can get through the messages. But honestly, for the purposes of my bot, I don't actually probably care about those, because really I care about when someone is sending like a specific command. I care about when someone sends like the first message to like maybe greet that person. To run games, again, that will be just commands. Yeah, I mean, it will kind of be this nested data structure, except it will not be JSON, it will be, you know, something. Sure. I mean, so the thing is, that's true. So that's true if you're actually building a service. Because when you're building a service, then the moment you kind of establish a data format, it's very hard to change. But this is kind of an enclosed system, right? It's super easy for me to just go and change the format everywhere. And it will not break anything, because like I change it everywhere. It's not like this would have like external clients, you know. That's the hard part about like data formats. So because like it's just like an internal architecture of this thing, which is kind of still one blob that's always either running or not running in its like entirety, that makes things much easier. And I mean, if I wanted to be like super fancy, I would actually use protocol buffers here. Like I can pretty easily use them in JavaScript, and I can just deserialize them into text, and that's a string that I can send as a message on the on the pipeline. So there's a bunch of options. I'm not too worried about that part. I'm more kind of worried about like this initial thing. Like if I kind of screw up the initial architecture, that will kind of be hard to change, because like if I kind of implement, let's say I implement kind of most of the stuff, and suddenly I realize, oh, I cannot, like I want to now implement this like one piece that's, I don't know, suddenly only listening to things and not really writing, and it doesn't really fit into the architecture I designed, and I need to change the architecture itself. Like that will be very painful. Okay, I think I will wrap up the stream for today, honestly. I definitely have some reading to do offline about the 0MQ, but this is a good, basically, proof of concept over here. So with this, basically, I still need to figure out how to do the polling part, but for that I will just ask my colleagues. Like they do that kind of stuff all the time. But yeah, I mean, this is all kind of cool. So thanks a lot, Python, for sticking around in the stream. You were super useful with all the information. And I will definitely be back with this. I'm super glad that I'm like finally managed to resolve the OAUTH conundrum, because I was kind of stuck on that and still trying to do it in C++. But cool. Yeah, and by the way, if you don't know, I stream every Saturday and Sunday and always starting at 2:30 p.m. Central European Time, which depending on where you live can be super early, because I think that translates to like 6 a.m. to Americans. But yeah, I will be definitely back with this crazy thing that I'm implementing. So thanks again, and oh, Netherlands, perfect. So yeah, you are in my time zone. Okay, so thanks again for watching, and I will be back next week. See you.